Hey everybody, Nathan here. Welcome back. Week two. Hope you enjoyed week one. If you haven't checked that out, go back. You'll get the introductions of who everybody is and the first great week of discussion. Back here for the second week of Shakespeare and Stoppard work. We're without our dramaturg today, but I know there's still going to be a lot of wonderful discussion and work ahead of us. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way. Producer heads to the back of the theater, other stuff to do. And I'll let all of you guys get to work. So hope you have a great session. I'll be listening in, and I may not be able to check in at the end, but we'll see you soon if I don't see you at the end of the session.
Great. Thank you. Um, well, hi, guys. I wanted to, as I said before, I wanted to do this kind of round robin thing, give everybody a chance to do everything. And today I'd like to get through, we did, it was Marcelo as Hamlet. Dan, you were doing Guildenstern. Is that right? Uh, and Nick was Rosencrantz.
Yes, now I'm unmuted. Yes, I was Guildenstern.
Oh, yeah.
I get the two of them mixed up.
You,
Gentle Rosenstern.
Dan was Guildenstern.
Yes.
Wait, Dan was Guildenstern, right? Um, and so Nick was Rosencrantz. So this is what I wanted to do. I had this all written down on a piece of paper, which of course I've lost. But we're gonna do it like volleyball, just sort of go around. And from the list I had, that now makes Nick Guildenstern and Marcelo Rosencrantz. Right? Does that seem that's right?
Here with me.
Okay, that's going to be the first time through, and then we're going to go through all these scenes again with Nick as Hamlet and whoever the other two, whoever you haven't played before. So we're going to go through it that way. I haven't got a lot to say. Oh, I'd like to do it in sort of the chronological order this time. So we'll do the Hamlet 2-2 first, then the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Act two, the beginning of Act two, and then go to back to the Hamlet for the recorder scene. So that's kind of the big format for today. And let me start, by asking if anybody's had any particular revelations about what we're doing, or thoughts, or those wonderful shower thoughts we all get, or reactions to what we did last time. Anything at all. We have plenty of time, so let's start. Just whoever, if anybody wants to speak, go ahead.
I mean, what I've been thinking about has just that trying to get into that headspace, what Hamlet, this moment in his life, right? In this with what's happened, and just trying to kind of figure out what is his emotional kind of through line, right, through these scenes that we're working on. I didn't come up with any great conclusions, just that confusion that he has, just that he is driven. He's driving these two guys to for a confession, and trying to get, I think maybe trying to get underneath their skin a little bit, and he cajoles them. As Gideon mentioned in one of the lines we're talking about, he's buttering them up, finding different ways to attack them, to get to some kind of truth that he thinks he knows about what's going on.
Good. If does anybody else want to jump in on that? Because I have a couple of thoughts, but
I think I could kind of just tag on to that a little bit. I was just thinking this week, just even in personal interactions with people, starting to think about, okay, how do I act with people that I haven't seen in a long time? That maybe I don't know, are they MAGA heads, or are they liberal? And my conversations with maybe somebody that I haven't seen in years is maybe a little bit trepidatious at first, to kind of see where do they stand before I kind of like take my stand as to how to how to interact with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing that Marcelo was saying about Hamlet. He's kind of like he's kind of trying to feel them out to see what part of what side of the line are these guys on as far as what's going on in my life. And are they somebody I should trust because I knew them a long time ago, or something else going on?
I was thinking about the fact that right before the scene, he's speaking with Polonius, and there's this level of distrust that he has, and I wonder how much of that carries directly into the next part with when his two friends walk on. And would it have been different had they just entered his world without him being right next to Polonius before he sees them again?
Great. This is all great stuff. That's classic the moment before, right?
Yep.
Which we literally get to see. Often we have to kind of manufacture it for ourselves as actors. But I've always said that's one of the things about playing a big part that makes them easier to play than small parts in some ways, because since they're fully written and you're like on stage all the time, that a lot of the work has been done for you. Now, of course, there's a bigger line load and they're physically more demanding, but in a way, big parts are easier than small parts sometimes. And there are no small actors. I know.
Kenneth Marsh says there are no small parts, only small paychecks. He said that to me once.
I tell you one thing. I do want to get to these, but one thing I love about regional theater, where everybody's on the same favored nations contract. So I'm doing True West, and the two leads have these massive line loads, extremely demanding that way, extremely demanding physically, in particular for the guy who plays Lee. These huge things. And I come on, I got about 14 lines, I think, altogether. And Amelia has one scene of maybe, a half a dozen lines. And the joke is, of course, we're making far more per word than they are. Because everybody's making the same. They have to work so much harder. Anyway, this is very interesting. Let me start with some, my first reaction to what you said, Marcelo, is he of course does have an emotional through line, but I think it always helps us to have thought about that. But what you can only ever play is what you're trying to accomplish, right? As you know, and the great thing, we all think, I'm sure we all know this, the trick to not trick. I think the best way to approach Shakespeare is to think of it as problem solving all the way through, and putting things together. Of course, your character has a given emotional state, but it's the way to, I think, help get you through the scene in the first few goes anyway is to just try to get the information and put it together. And as I said, hello, darling. Yeah. As I said last week, the longer as a character you can put off knowing what we all know from reading the whole play, the longer you can put off actually putting that puzzle together, the better. Because what we as audience members, and I think actors, what we enjoy is that process of figuring things out. So
it's that discovery, kind of line by line, that leads you to the next thing, that you're listening what they're telling you, and you're reacting to that.
Exactly. And the more you come in, again, as I said, I think it helps everybody if at the beginning of this first scene, everybody's on a kind of clean slate. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern have an assignment. Hamlet has his self-assigned assignment, which is to find out if the ghost was telling the truth, right? To find out where he stands, and that's why he's put on this antic disposition, so he can do his detective work, as it were, with impunity. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern have a different kind of assignment, but they too are trying to find out, I think, genuinely what is going on without having made too much of a what I want a preconceived notion of what's wrong.
Well, they live in a world of confusion, the two of them. I mean, they are trying always to figure it out. What heads or tails is it?
100%. They don't really know. They're trying to find their footing, and the best thing they have to go on is what would seem to be normal and what they've been told, sort of, by the king, is that he's frustrated by ambition. There are these two strange, frustrated ambition and frustrated love, unrequited love, or the melancholic lover and the prince who isn't in the position he should be. And these two guys, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, are sort of covering the ambition side. Polonius will go at the potential, he's mad because of love thing. But nevertheless, I think the slower things dawn on you guys, and the more genuinely we can believe that you were at least extremely friendly. They're not they're not guys like in your class who you're in the same. We're all in the class of 73, but I don't know 90% of those guys. I think you knew each other. I think you got on well. I think they were reasonably good friends. So what's so appealing about Hamlet is his complexity. So he might find it a little odd that they're there right at first, but as each of you approaches it, I think it will pay off for you more if you discover their true calling as you go through the scene. He gets very explicit by the end of the scene. It's very explicit. He says, "I know the king and queen have sent for you, and I'll even tell you why," which of course is a clever way of short-circuiting them. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you the reasons that you will report back. Okay. So clearly, each of you does Hamlet, you have this wonderful journey through the scene. It starts with what's going on, and when it's resolved, the scene is over. It's great. So yeah, Marcelo, you asked, is he trying to get at them, get under their skin? I think perhaps a little bit in the end. I think where we really want to save that for is the recorder scene, where he is, yes. So I think you can perhaps be. I think Hamlet is perhaps disappointed in them. They're not. They're truly as friends to support him. He knows what their job is, but I think the level of their treachery. Let's just give ourselves a place to go. Yeah. Let me put it that way.
Can I ask you something, Geoffrey, before
Sure.
we jump into it? How do you take the line? I think it's line 255. None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest. And the reason I ask is that it's a little bit confusing line. I mean, obviously, we take it at face value because he answers, "Oh, well, that's not really true. Doomsday's near then." But the reason I ask is because I'm kind of wondering what R&G are how they're presenting themselves to him. Are they saying that in like, hey, everybody's just telling the truth now, and I'm here and I'm an honest guy? Is that what they're saying, or that everything's treating us the way it's supposed to? I don't really know. I mean, I guess it's maybe a Gideon question too.
It might be. Let me see.
Well, he answers. It's an answer to what news, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. News is none of the world just goes on. I think for me, that's how I see it. The word It's not about honesty or deceit. It's just, to me, it's the world just goes on as normal. Things happen.
Oops. I guess you guys can see me. I happen to have him.
Oh, nice.
I happen to have this, which is this entire. That's the whole play. This is what the pages look like. This here is the script, and the denser stuff on the other side is his explication of everything. So let me.
What is that? Show me the cover of that book, Geoffrey.
Yeah, it's called William Shakespeare's Hamlet, edited and annotated by Gideon Rappaport.
Oh,
it's
nice.
A self-published thing, I think. But I can stand in for him, and I can actually read what he says about that word. Upright, virtuous, truthful, an obviously ironic throwaway line from their point of view, intended to evoke verbal wit, but to the audience hinting at moral obtuseness of these two spies for the king. So I think that's that kind of makes sense to me. It's kind of a throwaway line. How you doing? Everything's great. It's good. Life is good. It's the way we answer when we're not. It's not.
Well, it's not an in-depth answer.
Exactly. It's not a commitment.
Right. So then,
one way or the other. But it's loaded with irony. Yeah. Sorry, Nick, say again.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I really like how Gideon recognizes that the characters will say and mean one thing with a line, but the meaning will register differently with the audience.
Yes.
than it does with the character. And that's so interesting because it could mean, that line could mean something completely different to Rosencrantz than it does to the ear of the crowd.
Absolutely. I mean, we know what we think we know. The first audience, I'm trying to think chronologically, hasn't had confirmation of the truth of the ghost yet. So it's they're, as an audience, we're kind of in the same suspended place that Hamlet is. He's been given this charge, but he has to know that it's heavenly, not a devil.
So, other than just the throwaway part of which I totally get that. I think, what would be the opposite of that answer? But the world's grown honest, but the world is filled with muck and shit and no, things are terrible. Life is.
I almost I mean, in a contemporary thing, you'd say, yeah, it's the same old, same old. The world's same old.
It's almost like they're saying to him, "Good morning," and Hamlet's saying, "Is it good? Is it really good? I don't think it's good." Right? Because he says, "Then doomsday's near because your news isn't true."
Yeah, I think there's a little. Now this is just an acting thing, but I think there's we're not dealing with verse, so it's not a caesura really. But I think then is doomsday near is, as happens so often in Shakespeare, is an answer to what's gone right before, right? That's the sort of call and response of it, because if everything's great, then there's only one thing that could happen after that, and the final judgment. When he says, "But your news is not true," I think there's a real break there. I think he's decided to change the conversation from witty banter about living in Fortune's privates, which seems to me just that. It's a bunch of guys. How you doing? I'm living in Fortune's crotch. It's great. It's wonderful. It's college boys stuff. But I think that buts and yets are important in Shakespeare. I think he at that point is going to seize control of the conversation, and he's beginning to sound them. I think as Marcelo and partly in answer to your question, I think he knows that there's some reason they're here. Denmark's a long way from Wittenberg.
But your news is not true, meaning that things are not as good as you're.
Exactly.
As good as you're saying to me.
Yeah. Exactly. That's not true. You're on unemployment, aren't you? Why? What are you doing? Or whatever. It's. I think it's a point where, you know, in sales or something, where you take control of the conversation for a little bit. That's what he's beginning to do there. I just want to try to get to these other couple of questions. Dan, you said, you were thinking about how I react to someone I haven't seen for a while. Should I trust them? And I think that's a perfectly legitimate way to initially greet them. I would encourage you to greet them as openly as possible rather than as suspiciously as possible.
Yeah.
Right? Let the suspicion, that's where that but is where it turns a little bit. It's like, okay. So what are you guys really doing here?
Yeah, let's get real here for the moment.
Let's get real. Yeah. So yes, I think, you know, you haven't, and I think it hasn't been that long since they've seen each other. It's not a question of years. It might be a question of months, but you know, it's not that long. So that's again a very good question. And Nick, you're just before the Polonius moment. Let me take a quick look at that. I think, yeah, it probably, it's that stuff with Polonius, I'm sure has definitely got his antenna up. I mean, he's a real sensitive lad anyway, but has got his antenna up. He does that punning about, or the suggestive stuff about don't loose your daughter, you know, don't turn your daughter into a whore and all that stuff. And he surely knows that the reason Ophelia has been kept from him is because of Polonius. So that does weigh on him.
It's interesting. I thought that he says these tedious old fools, and then these two young guys come right on.
That's very good. You know? Yeah, very good. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yes. And
he's sick of Polonius and Claudius and all this. And then there's like this whole new game, this whole new tactic that enters.
That's right. And a whole new, you know, if we have this, what do we call it? Well, the things he hides behind, his madness is informed by either a disprized love or thwarted ambition. So the disprized love thing has just been happening with Polonius, and now we're going to get a taste of the ambition side, right? So it's keeping that balance going. And again, well, you know, and I'm going to stop talking in a second, believe me. But what's fun about this character is those elements are true. I think he does love Ophelia, and you know, she's caught up in these machinations. I think he has some sympathy for that, and then it tips him over into a kind of a passion, you know, which will happen in the nunnery scene. But that doesn't mean his feelings for her were false. The fact that he has some cause for ambition is not entirely put on. He does. I think we can, you know, he's a prince. He's been raised as a prince. He's supposed to be the king. There's a lot going on, which is why he's so wonderfully human. So I think I've talked about all those things. There was such a good thoughts, you guys. I'm going to make my screen much smaller. Just give me a second here, so I can have all this on at the same time. And let's start with this first scene. And I think let's try to go through all three fairly not do the scenes quickly, but without a lot of discussion afterwards. And then talk about the three of them afterwards. Okay.
So it's this one, and then RNG are dead, and then 3-2.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to, immediately go, but
no, I just want to have them ready to go.
Absolutely. That's what we'll do. All right. Give yourself a second. I'm going to mute myself. And go when you're ready.
Should we start, sorry, with Guildenstern's My Honored Lord?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll go from there? Okay. My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors.
Faith, her privates we.
In the secret parts of fortune. Oh, most true, she is a strumpet. What news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question you more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Why, then 'tis none to you. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Ah, God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space were it not for bad dreams. Were it not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court, for by my fay I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord. No other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks, which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear a better proposer can charge you withal. Be even and direct with me whether or you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay, then I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire? Why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason! How infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable! In action, how like an angel! In apprehension, how like a god! The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals! And yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor women neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. No.
Why did you laugh then when I said, man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coted them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
Good, guys. So let's now go to the RNG.
One.
And
sorry, what page is that in the RNG script again?
In the script, it's page 42. I'm not sure what page it is in the PDF.
I see. 42.
Probably in the 20s, I think. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Where did you want to start?
Well, let's start with, gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. And skip the Polonius Hamlet stuff. So it'll be those couple of lines. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Elsinore. And what, my lord, I'm mad, but northwest. And I know a hawk from a handsaw. Then give yourself a nice pause before starting on Guildenstern. Yes. What? I thought you.
Yes.
Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Dan, just give yourself a couple seconds and start up again.
I'm just getting it on my screen just set up here. So. There it is. Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outwards, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am but mad northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Yes?
What?
I thought you...
No. I think we could say we made some headway.
You think so?
I think we could say that.
I think we can say he made us look ridiculous.
We played it close to the chest, of course.
Question and answer. Old ways are the best ways. He was scoring off of us all down the line.
He caught us on the wrong foot once or twice. Perhaps I thought we gained some ground.
He murdered us.
He might have had the edge.
27-3. And you think he might have had the edge? He murdered us.
What about our evasions?
Oh, our evasions were lovely. Were you sent for? He says. My lord, we were sent for. I didn't know where to put myself.
He had 6 rhetoricals.
It was question and answer, all right. 27 questions he got out in 10 minutes and answered 3. I was waiting for you to delve. When is he going to start delving? I asked myself.
And 2 repetitions.
Hardly a leading question between us.
We got his symptoms, didn't we?
Half of what he said meant something else, and the other half didn't mean anything at all.
Thwarted ambition, a sense of grievance. That's my diagnosis.
6 rhetoricals and 2 repetitions, leaving 19, of which we answered 15. And what did what did we give him in return? And what did we get in return? He's depressed. Denmark's a prison, and he'd rather live in a nutshell, some shadow play about the nature of ambition, which never got down to the cases. And finally, one direct question, which might have led somewhere, and led, in fact, to his illuminating claim to tell a hawk from a hansom.
When the wind is southerly.
And the weather's clear.
And when it isn't, he can't?
He's at the mercy of the elements.
Good. Let's cut it there. Very good. Very good. Just give me 1 second. And then we'll go on to whatever the next one is. Whatever. It's Act 3, Scene 2.
3-2.
Yeah. Just 1 second.
I love to think of Tom Stoppard coming up with this play.
It's a work of, it's extraordinary. It's a work of genius. It's great.
It is. It's fun because you see Rosencrantz and Guildenstern played many different ways in many different productions and films of Hamlet. And there's the sort of dumb guy version. There's the college friend version. I've seen them played where they're quite smart, where one of them is quite smart and one of them isn't. And it's interesting to see. I loved Stoppard's impression of these characters.
Well, yeah, in that scene, Rosencrantz is really like, just fuck me.
Yeah.
That was just horrible.
Let's. Well, all right. Let's. I said we are going to go through, but let's just talk about this for a second, because I had some thoughts as you guys were doing it, which was terrific. Here's my thought, at least for the way this scene goes. Rosencrantz is the 2 of them are like lost souls, because they don't know where they are and they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, right? They're in this limbo, this unknown place. And I think they have different ways of dealing with the kind of existential fear. Literally, they don't know what their existence is. They don't know who they are. People call them by different names. They're not sure. I mean, they sort of have nothing firm to stand on. And I think we'll go through this again, but perhaps you can experiment with the thought, just for now anyway, of Rosencrantz perhaps being, less a person of the mind, perhaps, than Guildenstern. He's really upset and terrified and unhappy at the way this has gone, because he thought, because of what Guildenstern told him before, that they were going to get a lot of information and they would then know where they stand. There's a
frustration. I mean, I just decided I'm going to pull out the stops from me on this. I'll just try this first time through.
Yeah. I think he's, if you will, he's somewhat more childlike, or he's a more emotional guy.
Little tantrumish.
Yes, let's try that. And Guildenstern, who he's quite defensive in this scene, isn't he? I noticed, Nick. He's defending his. He's saying, no, it worked out fine. We figured out we know a lot. We know a lot. And Rosencrantz going, no, we don't know a thing. So I think Guildenstern is equally um, uh, frantically, his frantic nature is perhaps more subdued, holding on to this idea of reason, this sense that things can be figured out. We actually did make some progress here, and Rosencrantz is calling him on it. I don't want to do the scene again now, but perhaps bear that in mind the next time we go through. So good. Let's carry on to the recorder scene. And Nick, you start us off again when you feel like it.
And what line is this that we start?
This starts with good my Lord, vouchsafe me a word with you, which is 323, I think. 320.
There it is.
Okay.
Good my Lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir.
Aye, what of him?
Is in his retirement marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him to his purgation will perhaps plunge him into more choler.
Good my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir, pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answer as I can make you, you shall command. Or rather, as you say, my mother, therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says, your behavior hath thus, then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And do still, by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Ah, the recorders, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a foil, into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
Do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? Splud, do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me. You cannot play upon me.
Why are you so angry?
I don't know. My dad died.
Yeah, good. Why is he so angry? He's a real emotional boy at this point.
Because he finally knows what's going on. I mean, he's finally got confirmation of what's going on.
he's got confirmation of what's going on. He knows from this point on, it's not a question anymore. It's how to execute. So he doesn't. Yeah, that's right. The play has turned. It's going to the. Let's see, those double soliloquies come shortly after this, right?
Mm.
Oh, bloody hell.
And in walks Polonius at the end of this scene again.
Yes. Where, oh God, I'm sorry. That's that. Where is, oh, here we go. Just let me look for a second. Well, according to Gideon, the real turning point of the play comes where is it? Oh, yes, here. It doesn't have a line marking in this one, but it's these double soliloquies when Hamlet thinks he can kill Claudius, who's at prayer, and Claudius has his confession afterwards when he explicitly says he did it. So everyone now knows for sure. I mean, everyone in the audience knows for sure.
That's right after this scene, right?
It's right after this scene.
Yeah.
And Gideon's
his rank.
That's right. But just before that, Hamlet has his "Now might I do it," Pat. Now he's a praying, and now I'll do it. And there's this one word in a whole line passage where he says, "If I kill him now, am I revenged to take him while he's purging his soul when he's ready to go to heaven?" And then he takes 9 syllables to come up with the word "no." At which point he sort of condemns himself because he decides that he's going to decide he's going to punish Claudius by sending him to hell. And that's a decision he really shouldn't have made. That's a way too short way of explaining what Gideon does at some length, but I'll let him talk about that another time. But yes, we're at the sort of pivot point of the whole play, and Hamlet is, I mean, he's high as a kite, I think, in this scene. There's an let me just say a few things about this last one, and then I'll talk about some others. There are interesting things here. Hamlet is obviously playing with them in this vouchsafe me a word, a whole history. The king, whatever, he's distempered. Oh, with drink, and no, he's choler. Well, then you should see a doctor. He's really, this is almost Noel Cowardy quick until it gets to the point where Guildenstern says, "Jesus, settle down." Of all people, Guildenstern is the one who says, "Put your discourse into some frame," right? Which is basically settle down and start no so wildly from my affair, which I think is a little bit of an embedded stage direction. I think Hamlet is physically moving around all over the place.
What line is that?
335.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that right? I have to go back.
Look by your discourse into some. Yes, it's starting not so wildly into my favor.
Yeah. Not that we can do it here, but that's something to bear in mind. I think that informs Hamlet's state of mind and his physicality and everything about it at this particular moment. And Hamlet, replies very quickly, "I'm tame, I'm calmed down," right? And then he starts using these big words like pronounce and amazement. Oh no, I don't know. Using the word pronounce it's a little formal. He's still kind of he's toying with them. He's playing with them. You
Yeah.
know,
And it's interesting. I feel like this is a moment where Guildenstern on 342 is trying to be straight up with his old college buddy.
yeah, I think he is, and I think it's very good, Nick. He's giving him a fair warning. It's like, uh, you're. I know you're just goofing around, but the stakes are way high here, and yeah,
Yeah.
he says, I'm about ready to leave.
Yeah.
We can wrap this up, right? It's
Yeah,
just
let's
Very
wrap this up.
straightforward.
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
tell me the deal and we can wrap this up.
Mhm.
And I think it's interesting that I think Guildenstern might be, again, as perhaps the quicker of the two. Uh, he doesn't, when Hamlet says, "Sir, I cannot," it's Rosencrantz who says, "What?" And it's not what did you say? It's what can you not do, my lord? Right? Rosencrantz, see that line 347?
Mhm.
Yeah, you could almost play it as I mean, if as Guildenstern is actually, I feel, trying to help him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the way to that's the best way into these scenes, both these scenes.
Yeah.
Um, certainly the first one, that's great. That's great. I totally endorse that. Um, but perhaps you've sort of had it, Guildenstern, when you say,
Yeah.
if not my pardon, your pardon and my return will be the end of my business. He's basically
Yeah.
saying, I'm about to leave. I'm going to leave. I beg your
I'm
pardon. I'm
I'm
going.
trying to save your life.
Yeah.
And if you don't want me to, fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Uh, that's good. Hamlet says, "Sir, I cannot," and Rosencrantz says, "What?"
What, my lord?
That's it. What can you not do? Make you a wholesome answer. I'm crazy. Um, and I think Hamlet, you can just about play with them as crazy as you want to be. You can whoever's doing Hamlet, Dan, you can kind of cycle in and out of literally making fun of them and then going, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead. Right. Um, for example, a wonderful son that can so astonish a mother! Exclamation mark. Um, um, I think, if Hamlet is almost going, "Oh my God, I'm such a good boy. That's great. Great news. Anything else?" And Hamlet, I think you can, leave him hanging there for a second. So what else? And then, here's where he uses another word like impart, as like proceed, instead of more usual word. So the more you're explicitly toying with them, Dan,
Yeah.
or whoever's doing Hamlet, I think the better it is. Guildenstern loses his patience by just saying, "Well, I'm gonna piss off. I'm leaving. I'm not going to do anything." Rosencrantz's approach is to say, "Come on, man. We used to hang out. We're friends. You loved me." And and he, in his own way, Rosencrantz is trying to help him. He says, "What is the problem? You're going to end up in prison if you're not careful, right? Tell me how I can help you out." Right? His he's a little more of the therapist approach. uh, what's what is this? Raises. Oh, just a little later on when we get to this part about uh, Hamlet saying, "Play upon this pipe. I cannot, I pray you, I believe you, I cannot, beseech me, I know no touch of it. It's easy as lying." That's, what in Greek drama we used to call a stichomathea, right? It's just bick, bick, bick. It comes one right after the other. And I think the temperature rises quite quickly as it goes along. With Guildenstern, again, Guildenstern's more the one who sort of loses his temper. He said, I don't know how to play it. I can't play it. I don't know how to fucking play a flute.
Yeah.
And I think Hamlet, you might be able to undercut him. Well, it's easy. It's easy as what you're doing. And then, I know I'm sort of orchestrating this, but just to sort of give you guys permission, I think Hamlet, this speech, you really kind of lose it. I'd be careful of hitting all the pronouns as you go through.
Minds. Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
I think the keyword by looking at how unworthy a thing you make of me, thing and me sort of have sort of equal value.
Yeah.
You'd play upon me. You'd seem to know my stops. You'd pluck the heart out of my mystery. It's not me. It's these things you want to do to me. You want to finger me. You want to play me like you can't even play this stupid little stick. I think call me. His blood is a strong. It's like about as strong as you can get, as one can get. It's like what the hell do you think of me?
Yeah, I think he's playing that word game really from it is easy as long. Well, even before that, right? When he's asking him to play the pipe, but then it's that whole it's all like kind of still pretending to be like, going over the top on being crazy on it is easy as lying, govern these vintages, blah blah blah. Why look you now? All of that, and then I think it's a break at he's done making those jokes, and he says, "Splut, do you think now he's explaining what he just got done saying." So I think there's kind of a break after you cannot make it speak.
Sure.
Do you think? And then he's serious. Those last two lines,
I think he's serious. Personally, I think he's furious.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think he's playing crazy that whole piece before it. He's kind of being silly with them, until he gets to the splut,
Good, sure.
And he's just really like, don't you get what I'm saying, you idiot?
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go back a little bit, back to the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Rosencrantz. This is the Stoppard scene.
Yes.
This is. Oh, it's actually stage direction, where Rosencrantz says, "Question and answer. Old ways are the best ways." He was scoring up us all down the line. That's when I wrote that down. He gives you the derisively, or I wrote actually kind of dripping with contempt. I think that's an example of Rosencrantz's. I thought you were going to get us out of it. I thought you had this plan. And it was bullshit. You chickened out. So,
I can't believe what you just did. I was expecting, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we're supposed to do it this. You question answer. Well, everything will be fine. Where's it? You're welcome.
The "you're welcome" is in the Shakespeare, not in this. I don't think.
No, there's something.
You're welcome. It's back on the Shakespeare part, and I don't think it's here.
Well,
It's in the. Let me see here.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. I was looking at the yes. I'm looking at the wrong place here. Yes, that was a reference to that last that recorder scene.
That's line 341.
Yeah, that was just Dan. I think the more what is it? The more genuine that is, it's like, oh, this is great. What a great present. Thank you so much. End of conversation. But to get back to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, no, I just had written down what I already talked about. that Rosencrantz's fear and I'm not going to talk anymore. I've already said it.
I've said enough.
I've said enough. Let me go back to the first scene. Hamlet.
No, I do have a question. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hamlet, early on when you say send you to prison hither, I think you need to lift the word prison, not hither. It's prison. And 271, who has a line about ambition, 271. Oh, here's Rosencrantz. Rosencrantz. Here's another example to me of, I think, of Rosencrantz's slightly more emotional and what's the word I want? He sort of gets carried away and almost childlike quality when he says, then it's your ambition, right? It's like, I know the answer for you. But I think you can fold in something, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
He's enthusiastic where Guildenstern is considered. So that seemed like a place where you can jump on it. And also,
yeah, it's almost like they're hoping it is ambition. They would love to be able to go back and report that.
100%. And Rosencrantz at line 280, when you say, truly, I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality, it's but a shadow's shadow. That's their verbal gymnastics. The witty stuff is getting so complicated now. Hamlet will top even that. But then he goes, okay, enough of this. But I think Rosencrantz, when Hamlet says a dream itself is but a shadow, Rosencrantz go, yeah, that's right. You know, so let his enthusiasm come through. And
yeah, they're kind of extending each other's metaphors, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And happy to be doing, happy that they're on the right track, what they think. Now, Hamlet, I know I mentioned this, but your news is not true. There's a bunch of buts in here, I suddenly realized.
Yeah.
Bigger than I am.
What line are you at, Jeff?
This is 294, but I thank you.
Yeah.
Were you not sent for? So there's a change there. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclinings that a free visitation come, deal justly with me? Come, nay, speak. I think you need to give them an opportunity to answer each one. Put them on the spot. Wait for an answer. Maybe inclining and visitation run together. But then deal justly with me. Wait for a second. Because you do it again. Come on, say something. But give them a chance not to have said anything, right?
Yeah.
And that leads you into, what should we say? Just tell me what you're here for.
Yeah.
Where's
the purpose?
Here, but let me conjure you by the rights of fellowship, by the constancy. There's another one, but in the deep and I'm sorry. Never mind. But in the beaten way of friendship, right? There's somewhere where you say that. I can't remember the exact line.
I think that's actually earlier.
Is that the free visitation stuff, or is that no?
There it is. It's line 2. 90.
Yeah.
I'm most dreadfully tended. But in the beaten path of friendship, what make you at Elsinore? Again, I think give them what I wrote was go deeper. I think Hamlet, you're sort of settling into yourself, as it were. You're giving them a chance to say what they're really there for.
Yeah. And I think there's, 3 or 4 times when he asks them the question, but he prefaces the question by referencing their friendship. He does it 3 or 4 times in a row.
Exactly. And each of them has to, he says, but in the beaten path of friendship, what are you doing here?
Right.
And then he says, but I thank you. Were you not sent for anything to the purpose? You're not, you're not good enough at what you're doing. I can see what's going on. He keeps giving them a chance to get out of it. Here's a little thing you don't have to do, but you might want to in your what a piece of work is man.
Yeah.
And I know there's some debate about this, so I'm going to let you do it any way you want. I believe it is what a piece of work is man, but you can do it. What piece of work is man? I just think it's harder to say. There's some scholarly debate about that. But just before that, and this I stole from some other Hamlet, but Earth seems to me a sterile promontory, this most excellent canopy of the air. Look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament. Rather than just throwing that away, why don't you check in to see if they're actually doing what you're telling them to do?
The look you part, especially. Yeah.
The look you is this excellent canopy. Look you. Look at this. Look at this, right? So just connect with them a little bit. What a piece of work is a man. I think
one thing is, as I'm looking through it, is it's interesting to see when they're lying and when they're telling the truth. And I'm not sure that it seems that Rosencrantz does most of the lies in these scenes. I could be wrong. I was just noticing that right now. He actually answers a couple of things and his answers are not true. I haven't gone through each line of this, but I was just noticing that Guildenstern seems to be making an effort to be as honest as he can the whole time.
Good. Go with that. I'm going to. I think there's something to that. Rather than have you three do this one again, I'm going to switch it so that Nick gets a chance at Hamlet now. Marcelo will be Guildenstern. Is this right? And Dan goes to Rosencrantz, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just take just a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes, just to stretch yourselves a little bit, because I know this is a long time to sit. So I'm just going to stretch and get myself a drink of water. And let's go back at 6:18. Sound good? Okay. All right. Let's give Nick a chance to incorporate all these notes that I've been given. But each time through it gets more interesting. So all I would say is, enjoy it and feel free to, play the extremes of what we've been talking about as you get more comfortable with these lines and with how these people seem to be. If you have an impulse, go far with it. So funny voices and everything. Seriously, you're welcome in some of this, but even this first time through, this whole section, your initial greeting was great. It sounded more like three old friends, and also, we're on mics, so feel free to make it very conversational. There's no, I picked stuff with no verse, so we're easy that way. Right.
Just as we jump into it, I was just thinking it would be funny if, once again, where they're coming from, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz, maybe they're trying to outdo each other. And Guildenstern says, "My honored lord," and then Rosencrantz is trying to top him by saying, "My most dear lord." You know what I mean? Like they're still having those word plays going on before they get there.
Yeah, and even very good. And even the next thing, as the indifferent children of the earth, happy that we're not over it. That they're
trying to outdo each other a little bit,
correcting each other or whatever. But absolutely, there's that constant competition going on. It's very, very good. Okay.
We're ready?
I can't remember the assignments. So, yeah.
I am.
Are we going to just do the first scene and then stop, or would you like to keep going through the other scenes?
Let's try to keep going pretty much through the other scenes. I mean, we'll have to kind of stop, but
okay.
I'll try not to. I'll try to do that.
We'll do the first scene, and then we're going to do the stop part.
That's a hard stop. Yeah. All right, lads.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On Fortune's cap we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors.
Hey, her private suite.
In the secret parts of Fortune almost true, she is a strumpet. What news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of Fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Why then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh, God. I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams, indeed, are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court? For by my fay I cannot reason.
We wait upon you.
We'll wait upon you.
Oh,
no such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come. Nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. And there's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me, but let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear a better proposer can charge you withal. Be even and direct with me whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay, then I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air. Look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form, in moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, no, nor woman neither. Though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute on me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. Are we stopping there?
That is the stop point. You're muted, Jeff. You're muted, Geoffrey.
Still muted, Jeff.
Yeah.
There
You can hear me cursing then. Yes, we stop. Just for your reference, Nick, if you're looking at a whole script, it's after we coded them on the way, and hither they come to offer you service. And that's
Thank
the
you.
scene. So that's 342, I believe. Yeah, it's getting really nice, you guys. Let's just carry on, and we'll talk some more later. So let's carry on to the Stoppard. Again, starting with Hamlet's Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore.
Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outwards, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am but mad north, northwest, and when the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Yes?
What?
I thought you...
I think we can say we made some headway.
You think so?
I think we can say that.
I think we can say he made us look ridiculous.
Made it close to the chest, of course.
Question and answer. Old ways are the best ways. He was scoring us all down the line.
He caught us on the wrong foot once or twice, perhaps, but I thought we gained some ground.
He murdered us.
He might have had the edge.
27-3. And you think he might have had the edge? He murdered us.
What about our evasions?
Oh, our evasions were lovely. Were you sent for? He says. My lord, we were sent for. I didn't know where to put myself.
He had 6 rhetoricals.
It was question and answer, all right. 27 questions he got out in 10 minutes and answered 3. I was waiting for you to delve. When is he going to start delving? I asked myself.
And 2 repetitions.
Hardly a leading question between us.
We got his symptoms, didn't we?
Half of what he said meant something else, and the other half didn't mean anything at all.
Thwarted ambition, a sense of grievance. That's my diagnosis.
6 rhetoricals, 2 repetitions, leaving 19, of which we answered 15. And what did we get in return? He's depressed. Denmark's a prison, and he'd rather live in a nutshell. Some shadow play about the nature of ambition, which never got down to cases, and finally, one direct question, which might have led somewhere, and led, in fact, to his illuminating claim to tell a hawk from a handsaw.
The wind is southern.
And the weather's clear.
And when it isn't, and when it isn't, he can't.
He's at the mercy of the elements.
Mm.
Is that southerly?
Mercy of the element. Yeah, mercy of the elements is the end.
Yeah.
And that was actually a great reading. It's like, oh, now I figured something out after all of that. Delightful. Let's go on to the recorder.
Hang on. Okay. Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what of him?
in his retirement marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir.
No, my lord, with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into more choler.
Good, my lord. Put your discourse into some frame, and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord. Nay, good my lord. This courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answer as I can make, you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say?
Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother, but is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your own friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Oh, the recorders! Let me see one. To withdraw with you. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these vantages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse the most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command. But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass, and there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? Splut! Do you think I'm as easy to be played on as a pipe? Do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me.
Oh, great, guys. Just coming along so nicely. I just something, Nick, I was hearing, just now I'm going backwards a little bit, but that last speech was terrific, the way you turned on Splud. Although it's not, actual verse, he still gives you these great words to work with, played on than a pipe. He gives you lots of plosives and fricatives and all those good consonants. So be sure to use them. That's all I can say. You can really use those words. Come here, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me. It's great. It's great language. So
I kept running into breathing problems that I was noticing. Like if I was to do this on a stage, I would have to really plan my breaths, I think, on those full stops, because some of them are quite long when you're, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I think he's in such a state, and we're not dealing with verse, so you can breathe whenever you like. But yeah, there's definitely a breath after easier to be played on than a pipe. Call me what instrument you will. You can take a breath there.
Yeah.
Fret me, you cannot play upon me. I mean, all of them. I think he's really at the top of his range. So when we go through it again, feel free to, go as far as you can. Everyone was doing a terrific job that time of I don't know, letting yourselves go, which is good.
It's interesting because when you do it on Zoom or it's almost like with any kind of close up film or video, acting. It's like you tend to want to be still and act, just without a lot of gesturing and stuff. So there's a temptation not to go too far,
Yes. And that's I understand that, but as I've
but I'm just saying it's like we have to kind of like let ourselves go a little bit, as though you were on stage, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a smaller picture, but it takes the same amount of emotional energy, if you will. No such matter. In the first scene, Nick, I keep forgetting to. So we're going back to the beginning here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look at 287?
287. Is that where he says no such matter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes, no such matter.
No such matter. It's weird. It's not. It's not a case of forget about it. It's like, oh no, I'm not. I'm not going to treat you that way. You're my friend. You're not my servants.
It's interesting, and he's not necessarily telling the truth right there, right? So he's not very well attended.
He is well attended.
He is well attended. Okay.
I think. I mean, the people we see him with, who are his inferiors, which would be Horatio and the guys on the battlement, right?
Mm-hmm. He
is actually quite straightforward. With Horatio, he is completely honest, and Horatio is completely honest with him. The people he deals with, who are his attendants, are actually really good.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, he's winding him up a little, where he says, yeah, he's making again, he's painting a picture for them
Yes.
of his discontent.
And saying my respect for you, I would hold you to in the highest level of respect.
Yeah.
I see.
Again, he's a little bit keeping his enemies close. I mean,
yeah,
he knows. I don't think he knows how much of an enemy. I don't think he's determined quite how much of an enemy they are, because as far as we know in this scene, they've come to be information gatherers. Later, they will become, in that recorder scene, when it's clear that they're completely in the employ of the king and queen, I think he loses it with them. But here,
I mean, he's testing them, right? He's
testing them, and he knows. I mean, he's able to say in the end, "Look, I know something." He says it. You have to teach me. You have to tell me what's going on, and I implore you by the bonds of friendship, by what we've gone through together, by the fact that we're all the same age, just.
I think that there's I don't mean to cut you off, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
No, I think that there's, especially in this first scene that we're doing, at this point, he still does not have confirmation that the ghost is evil or good, right? Or honest, right? And he doesn't like his uncle, but he doesn't have any evidence yet that he killed old Hamlet. So I think, in this scene, he's still kind of like, well, I could be wrong about these guys. Maybe they just got, somebody paid their way to come to Elsinore. But as the scene goes on, he's getting more and more information that's getting him closer to all of these suspicions being true, right?
Exactly.
So it's just peeling it closer and closer. It's like he's kind of giving them the opportunity, the opportunity to say, no. We came, we sold our bicycles so that we could get money to come to see you. He's giving them all these opportunities to not be at the service of the king and queen, and yet they can't get there, right?
Yeah.
I think they feel like they have to be honest with him because they can't lie. They're childhood friends, They're trying to lie, but he sees through it.
He sees through it, and his. As you said earlier, Nick, and we all know, he asks them 3 or 4 times, come on, tell me.
Yeah, you're my friend.
Be even and direct with me. Just tell me whether you were sent for. That's all he's asking. And Rosencrantz, God, poor old Rosencrantz, kind of gives it away. It's like, what do we do? What are we supposed to do? And Guildenstern, who I think Rosencrantz turns to Guildenstern because he figures Guildenstern will have a better solution than going, yeah, we were sent for. The longer we can live in not quite knowing where we are in the scene, but for Hamlet and the lads, the better, right? But more information is gathered as we go through the scene.
Yeah, that's what I think, that there's a progression of Hamlet's understanding of the situation throughout this first scene.
Let me just, so no such matter. We've got that. It's no, I wouldn't treat you that way. The word is halfpenny. Like
I caught myself.
Halfpenny. If you haven't got a penny, halfpenny will do.
Halfpenny.
No ed on the. There's an ed.
To what end? I don't know what the line that is.
To what end?
305.
305.
Thank you. I know the good king and queen have sent for you. I think, again, this can be Rosencrantz a little more innocent. He's like, well, why would they do that? Right? He's not very good at this, David. So a little more innocent on that. Yeah, what say you? The more unsure that is, the better. The more Rosencrantz lives in innocence, I think, the better.
I feel like every time they get close to getting caught, Guildenstern goes quiet.
Yes. Yeah. And I just, because you did it, I suddenly got it. This thing about Rosencrantz laughing when he says, "Man delights not me." Rosencrantz sort of can't. Here's what he thinks is a sort of slightly dirty joke or something slightly, and he just laughs. He's that guy, right? So you decide how much you're laughing at that. I mean, I think he just comes up with an explanation real quick. I think he is laughing. Well, you decide. Is he laughing at the slightly dirty joke of "Man delights not me"? Are you with me?
Yeah. I mean, I think he has. I mean, obviously, it's almost a stage direction, right? Because
yeah,
he says, "Though by your smiling, you seem to say so." And then why did you laugh?
Yeah.
But there's some reaction to the "Man delights not me."
Yeah,
like,
and I again, I think it's part of Rosencrantz's sort of more innocent, more direct nature that kind of laughs at the joke and is able to get himself out of it. That first, now moving on to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Nick, that first speech, which is still the play. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come on. And this, it's interesting what he says. What do you think he's saying there? I mean, I know what I think he's saying. What do you think Hamlet is saying with giving hands, the appurtenance of welcome, all of that?
What does appurtenance mean?
The outside appearance.
Ah, okay. Well, that will help inform my decision because I had no idea what that word was. I was like, what? It's fashion and ceremony. I understand now.
Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure that because he has all this imagery of dressing, being dressed a certain way.
Which I tell you must. Yeah, it's all about appearances, isn't it? He's talking about fashion and the ceremony, garb.
Yeah.
Which I tell you must show fairly outwards. I think he's saying that he understands that the shell of them is different than what's on the inside.
Well, also he's saying that he's making a show of welcome.
I see. You are welcome.
You're welcome.
But I'm
and I don't want people to think you're not as welcome as the players.
And what does the yours refer to? Should appear like entertainment than yours, which I tell you.
I want to. He says the
this garb.
The outward appearance of welcome is making a show of it. It's fashion. It's ceremony. It's shaking hands and sharing a drink or something. And I want to do that. I want to make that show with you in this garb, so that when I do the same thing to the players, it doesn't look like I'm welcoming them more than I'm welcoming you.
Right, exactly.
I see. I was thinking of it the opposite way, but
no,
I understand. It's his show, not their show.
Yes,
he's saying I need to show everyone that I am welcoming you as at least as much as I would welcome the players, because I'm about to welcome them.
Yeah.
Really,
I'm really happy to see them.
Really, really passionately. And so take my hands so that everybody sees that that I am genuinely welcoming you guys here.
Yeah. And again, there's this mix, I think, for Hamlet, of because he says it twice. I mean, I can't get around it. He says, "Gentlemen, you're welcome to Elsinore. I'm going to shake your hands. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not I know we've had a little discussion here. I know you're working for the king and queen, but I know you're working, and I don't want you to sort of get called out, right? So your secrecy will molt no feather. I'm kind of doing. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to make a show. I don't want people to think that they're more welcome. And the last thing he says is, "You are welcome." And I think the stress might be on "are."
Oh, that's interesting.
But again, you decide.
And then I think also that's a clean cut between that and then it's like almost an afterthought. Oh, but my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
Yeah, I think that, and here isn't.
It's not part of the previous stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is my personal take on it. I think there's almost a sort of wink in that. I think he says, "You're welcome to Elsinore." Da 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 da. All this thing about welcome, and then Deacon Matthews always talks about old information. The word welcome, when it comes around here 2 sentences later, is old information. So what you want to stress is you really are welcome. And it's almost an aside to them. But I'm on to you. I don't know. I'm only crazy some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think there's a little, it's almost like a wink and a nudge there. But yes, there's a definite break, as Dan said, between "you're really welcome" and that last little thing.
And when he says, "I am but mad northwest," is mad there crazy? I am.
Yeah. Mad throughout this play, when they say mad, they mean insane, what we would call insane, not or crazy, not angry.
And is that a juxtaposition that when the wind is suddenly, then he has a different take on it, right? That he will hawk for my handsaw.
It's kind of gibberish. He's saying, "Listen, I'm only mad when the wind's blowing one way.
If it goes the other
it's
way,
blowing the other way. I know what's up." But really, he knows what's up the whole time.
Yeah.
Kind of saying, "Hey, I might be crazy in the morning. That doesn't mean I'm crazy in the afternoon."
Part-time crazy.
I'm part-time crazy. So that first speech, that's the way that goes. Dan, you're both you guys in that scene, Dan and Marcelo, that was terrific. That scene's playing. I don't know if I had to be muted because I was laughing my ass off.
Me too.
Great, right? It's as these differences emerge between the two of them, it becomes quite funny. But again, it's not, it's funny because Rosencrantz is desperate to find out, to find a place to stand on, and Guildenstern is desperate to defend what he thinks he's already standing on, because that's the way they hold off chaos and living in a world without order or even names. But that's where the comedy comes. As we all know, what's funny in comedy is the tragedy behind it. So, but just really good work. Marcelo, in this last scene,
yes.
Oh yeah, Guildenstern. You said, "No, my lord, with collar," line 330.
Collar. Yes.
Everybody in this scene is operating at a sort of high pitch at this point, because the triumph for Hamlet and the disaster for the king and the court that's just happened with the play within the play and people running off all directions, and clearly a lot of excitement going on in the court. I think when Hamlet says, "With drink, sir,"
"No, my lord, with collar." right?
Yeah, it's with what the fuck is the matter with you?
Not drink, it's
He's
collar.
he's angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is again, this is why I think it's so important that they actually be kind of old friends at the beginning. It's like, buddy, what is are you blind or stupid? No, with collar, man. And the more direct that is, I mean, it's a little, you're on the verge of insubordination. You're talking to a prince in a pretty kind of borderline way, but you have orders from the king. So you this is what will give us the ammunition for those last lines when Guildenstern's, no, I can't play this I can't play it. Well, you are a bastard. Why are you treating me like a pipe? Right? You both get to a certain, but anyway, with collar, I think you can even begin to lose your patience with him there. Line 347, Hamlet, sir, I cannot.
Oh, thank you.
Throughout Shakespeare, when it's cannot, the stress is always on the first syllable. And I'm sure there's an exception somewhere, but 98% of the time it's cannot. What, my lord? You got that. That was great. And Nick, advancement, line 368. In your answer to Rosencrantz, who says, what's the cause of your distemper? I think, sir, I lack advancement. This is like the 10th time I've told you, right? I think Hamlet.
I see.
I think just to give yourself a slightly different color there. It's like, you idiot. How many times do I have to tell you? It just occurred to me this time when you guys are going through it. We have 1 minute to go, so I'm going to stop, obviously. I think it's wonderful the way you guys are finding these different colors now, colors and collars. And I don't know, we can go over a minute or two. Does anybody have
I have got
observation or a complaint or anything?
Yes, complaints about everything. It's interesting. I sometimes I start and stop and I have to go back because that right now, as I'm still not totally familiar, even though I've worked on it, that line surprised me. They come upon me and I'm not like, what? Wait, I gotta go.
Yeah.
See this.
That's fine. That's why we're doing it this way. Also, I've made it a little harder for you all by having everybody do every part, but I think it's paying interesting dividends already.
Yeah, you just got to pay attention to everything now.
Yeah.
Not bullshit.
My line. It's like, well, I'm gonna have to say that next time through.
Just one side thing I noticed is that I had the question last week. The line "I know a hawk from a handsaw" and why that's such a weird line. And then I looked it up during this week. A handsaw is Elizabethan for a different kind of a bird than a hawk. A handsaw is like a heron.
Oh,
So I can tell two different kinds of birds if I was hunting.
Oh, well, thank you. I cannot believe all these years I've never bothered to look that up.
Me too.
I'm a little embarrassed, but
it's like the hunter goes out and she's like saying, if the wind is one way, I can't tell the birds apart, but when the wind's the other way, I can tell the birds apart.
Wow.
That actually makes it seem slightly less completely mad, which is insane. So that's good. Thank you. Thank you for that.
That's a Gideon, probably something he would have brought up.
Yeah. He would have. Well, he may watch this. I don't know, but once again, I'm enjoying this immensely, and we will continue next week. Continue to mix it up.
Yeah.
And do look at it again, because what I'm going to try to do next week is a thing that, Dan, you may remember we did, of trying to look at who you're speaking to on the screen as you do it much more, where you look at the script, and no matter how much or how little, You look at the script, then look up so that you're looking in the person's eyes, and the person who's listening has to be looking too. We'll try that. It's
the first time I've not put it on my screen.
But
this is the first time in these rehearsals that I've not put it on my screen. But I will for next week.
Well, you can or not. I mean, you can do it on. You can still do it reading, but the point is whether it's on your screen or you're holding it. I want you to be able to look at each other. It's a very slow way of working, but the connections you can make, particularly on Zoom, where it's very difficult and you can't really pick up cues quite as much as you'd like to. It's a sort of luxurious way to work since we have all this. We have another 4 hours of work to do on this. So
hey, I have got to go, my kids, my friends.
Yes. It's wonderful seeing you all. See you next week, 5 o'clock.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.